This is the content funnel. This is the tool that we use with our clients when it comes to building content throughout their business. So I like to divide it into various different stages, but to just give you a bit of context, this is when the sale happens. So let's start at the top, right? At the very top of the funnel, you have got content that people are discovering you for the first time. So they've never maybe seen you, they've never heard of you. This is the kind of content that you're going to create up here for the first time when they engage. So up here, you've got things like Facebook ads, right? You are running content under ads, you've got videos and photos that are displaying at the very, very top there. You've then also maybe got like organic socials. People are stumbling across them on Instagram, TikTok. They've maybe heard of you, or somebody said to them, oh, this company, and that's where you come up first. And then I guess as well, you've kind of got your website up there as well, right? This is where people are first discovering you for the first time. And there's some really cool content that you can build across this. So for Facebook ads, for example, how are you working with your ad manager to create great content? Because previously you could kind of get away with content that wasn't so great because the algorithms and stuff behind it were so much stronger. Whereas Facebook, with its newest updates as well, are changing much more to being very creative heavy. And it actually is requiring a lot more testing at the creative height as opposed to just relying on audience targeting. So you've got that. Organic socials, that's sort of like your shop front, right? Where people are then discovering you for the first time. They're deciding whether or not you're a company that they want to get in touch with and have a conversation with. And then on your website is sort of the natural next step where they're probably going to go. They're going to have a look, even on your Google My Business as well, actually, that's a good one. They end up on your website, they find you through Google My Business. You've got some photos on Google My Business. They go onto your website. On your website is some good content, good videos, good imagery, where they're starting to build a bit of that trust. And so that's at the very, very top. So there's some very clear places where you can build some great content up there. The next step is the middle level, right? This is where you need to start thinking about what some of the other content that once people have engaged with you a little bit up here are starting to see. I mean, website definitely still plays into that, right? Website can still play an important role within the midsection because maybe they have filled out a form on your website now. They were at the top, filled out a form on your website, and they're starting to receive some of your emails. So you now have their email address. You can start sending them emails as part of the sales journey. You're maybe now going back and forward, and they're on that sales process as well. You've maybe sent them an intro video. They've received that from you. They're maybe got a few FAQs that you can share with them as well as part of that process. And maybe also thinking about like testimonials, right? You want to think about what are they going to start looking at on your website, on who you are, what you do, how you do it, and other people that have liked and trusted you. How are you getting that information to them and sharing that with them? So that's probably through email, through starting to build a bit of relationship. Then you've sort of got this bottom level here. They've started to know you, they've started to like you, started to trust you. You have gone through the initial sales process with them. They are now at the point of where they're starting to look to buy. So the sales process is still important, right? You're maybe introducing, you've still got testimonials down there, you've still got FAQs that are playing an important role in it. They're still receiving your emails on a regular basis. If at all, previously, maybe they were on sort of your initial emails that they're getting drip fed information. Now they've moved on to more your like weekly emails that are giving them updates about the business, what you're doing, how you're doing it, kind of relevant content for them. But they're now starting to think about actually spending money with you. And so you're maybe doing things like quote explainers, and you're kind of trying to get across what the quote is, what it means. You're trying to show them how to actually leverage the thing that they're buying from you, whether that be this is how other people have used it, or this is how we would use it, or those next steps. And at that point, you're then saying, okay, great, we've done all of that. We then go down to the sale. So you've made the sale. Fantastic. So what happens now? And I think that's the bit that a lot of people kind of forget about, is to say, well, once the sale's made, the job is done, right? Well, no, you've actually still got to deliver the product as well of whatever you sold or the service, and you have aftercare. And there is a whole bunch more content that you can produce once the sale is made down here as well. So even as part of delivery, you've then got the stages of delivery, So you're maybe sending them at various points as they go through your business, the various things to expect at that point of purchase. If it's a product that they've received, you're maybe sending sort of an instruction manual in terms of the product that they've received. This is how to use it. This is how to unwrap it. A company we worked with that had a cake topper, right, that was taped to a piece of cardboard. And they would send the cake topper, the customer would get it, and they just pull the cake topper off the cardboard. And 9 times out of 10, it would just snap. And they were getting so many emails back. And so what we did was we created this little QR code that sat on the front that said, before you take this off the cardboard, watch this video in how to take this off the cardboard. Again, I know it sounds dumb, but that dramatically increased the success rate or delivery rate, or decreased the number of calls that they were receiving and having to remake orders, because they just educated the customer on how to literally unpack their product. So thinking of the content that you can build around that. But then you've got aftercare, right? You've got things like upsell content. So it's like, you bought this product, here's a great accompanying product, or you bought this service from us, here's a great accompanying service that you could buy as part of that. And that is great to continue to be in front of the customer. And you probably do that through targeted email. So you can see email is through all of this. You probably do that through organic socials as well. And that's coming down through the whole process. So that's what we call the content funnel. There's content that you can create down here that can get used up here, and vice versa. It all feeds into one another. But the important thing about the content funnel is that there's a plan. Because actually just creating content for like this one little random thing over here, okay, it's gonna play a role within that funnel, but ultimately you're missing a trick, because that piece of content can be leveraged at various different stages within the content funnel. And I think that's where most people get stuck. We'll often have people come to us saying, this is the one project we want, can you make the video? And ultimately the answer is yes, but it sits within such a niche within that funnel that ultimately it ends up meaning that it's the full ability to leverage it doesn't happen. And so I think that's what's really important, is having this full view of the content funnel. Now, if this is interesting to you and you want to know how Umore could help you build this content and make sure that you leverage it across the whole funnel, then we would love to hear from you. You can get in touch below, and I'd love to give you a call and chat through a little bit about how we could build this for your business. I hope you enjoyed the video.